On a dark and somber night, a secret cabal of monster hunters emerge from the shadows and gather at the foreboding Bloodstone Temple following the death of their leader. In a strange and macabre memorial to their leader's life, the attendees are thrust into a mysterious and deadly competition for a powerful relic, a hunt that will ultimately bring them face to face with a dangerous monster. First things first, yeah, I know I'm really late talking about this. I was on vacation visiting my sister when this came out. We sat down, watched it, had a blast doing so. I uploaded my initial thoughts, but I was not able to record a full review. I now finally have a chance to post my review of Werewolf by Night, so let's do it. Werewolf by Night is a Marvel Studios special presentation, 50 minutes long, short story, one and done. It's great. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But it was directed by composer Michael Giacchino, and this was his directorial debut. Now, his resume is amazing. If for some reason you've never heard this guy's name before, I mean, he's only one of the greatest film composers alive right now. But if you are not familiar with what he's done, he composed Up, the new Star Trek movies, the MCU Spider-Man trilogy, Rogue One, that's an amazing score, and most recently he did The Batman. Well, and Werewolf by Night, because he directed and composed the music for this. But him taking the director's chair, understandably so, had a lot of people worried. But he did absolutely incredible helming this thing. Just give him the Blade movie. He's earned it. I feel this is directed better than 90% of the comic book stuff we see nowadays. And it was directed by a guy who's not even a director. So, because I'm getting this review to you guys so late, I'm going to mix some spoilers in. I'm not going to do a full play-by-play, but as I go down the initial non-spoiler review I had written, I'll just toss a couple spoilers in whenever I feel like it. So if you have not watched Werewolf by Night, first off, the hell are you doing? Go watch Werewolf by Night. It's good. And second, yeah, spoilers. Spoiler warning. There you go. So, as mentioned, Werewolf by Night is about a group of monster hunters. They all have a bunch of kills between them of monsters that they say they're keeping the world safe by getting rid of these monsters. And is his name Ulysses? I believe it's Ulysses Bloodstone, who is the keeper of the Bloodstone, which is, you know, we'll get to Elsa Bloodstone in a minute, but it's the only thing in this special that's in color up until the very end, which was awesome. So cool to have that like kind of red central focus. I also liked when it shot its beam and the beam came out red, then turned black and white. That was cool. But they're fighting over the Bloodstone. So essentially, it was Ulysses, well, his widow now. She brings all the monster hunters, and she's like, all right, there's a monster in there. We're attaching the Bloodstone to it. It'll weaken its powers. It's a battle royale in there. Everyone goes in, every hunter for themselves. Go earn the Bloodstone. And that's what happened. So they go to this place called the Garden, which is where most of the special takes place. And I loved every second of it. Now, easily, without a shadow of a doubt, my favorite thing about the special is that it is something completely unique for Marvel. It would be very hard for you to find something similar to this that Marvel has done. It's a black and white TV special meant as an homage to the 40s and 50s horror films. Things like Wolfman, The Invisible Man, the old Frankenstein movies, those are some of the films that Michael Giacchino grew up loving, and they were some of his inspiration. And so when he was tapped to direct this thing, he wanted to pay homage to those. It has practical effects. The monsters are real. I'm sure you guys saw the behind-the-scenes picture of the crew hanging out with Man-Thing. It was a real thing that they made, except he didn't have legs, I'm pretty sure. But I know his top half and his head, that was fully created. And he could move. The werewolf was practical. They actually put makeup on Gael Garcia Bernal. It is filled with real things to the point that I don't even think there's a single moment in here that feels like a cartoon. Everything felt like something you could touch. It all felt practical. Even the scene when the werewolf jumps from the ceiling down onto a guy, wouldn't be surprised if it was wire work and not CGI. So take note, the directors of the Marvel movies who have an unlimited budget, Michael Giacchino, did this in such a short runtime. If there was ever an excuse to phone it in, it's for the TV special. And he made it look better than what all y'all are doing. Man-Thing is in this. I have waited so long to see Man-Thing. Ever since I found out Man-Thing existed, I've been wanting to see Man-Thing. And I'm so happy we finally got him in this. And he's so cute. He's so cute. And I love... his name's Ted, first of all. I'm going to call him Ted because I love Ted. But Ted's relationship with Jack, who I'll talk about in a few minutes, is fantastic. One of my new favorite Marvel duos. I hope to see them together in the future. And the amount of blood and violence in this film, what do you even call it when it's like a special like this? I'm just going to call it a film because that's easy to say. So the sheer amount of blood and violence in this film, it's insane. It threw me for a loop the first time of what they were able to get away with. Michael Giacchino said that he just kept saying he wanted more blood. And at no point did they tell him no. I wonder if that was a deciding factor for what made it black and white, is because in black and white you can hide the blood. But there were several points where me, my sister, and my buddy that I was watching it with just all started laughing our asses off as the werewolf was just tearing into people and blood was flying everywhere and it hit the camera at one point. Elsa has one kill where she cuts a guy's arm off, then shoots him through the jaw with a crossbow, and then has to hide in some shrubbery and hold his mouth shut to muffle the sound of him choking up his own blood so that another hunter doesn't hear her. And Man-Thing's kills, I really want to see these in color, because he just burns the people, and they just start melting away Indiana Jones style, and I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome. The jokes landed as well. It wouldn't be a 40s horror flick without some cheesy-ass jokes, and there are some in this. Some of the ways people deliver their lines, I think, are great. One of the one-liners a character makes is funny. But I think the funniest thing is by far the moment when Jack has to blow the wall and the explosive device is just not cooperating. So, Jack Russell, which is really funny that a guy named Jack Russell became a werewolf. But yeah, so Jack Russell is played by Gael Garcia Bernal. And I was so excited when I saw he was in this because I think he's a phenomenal actor. If you have not seen some of the stuff he's done, I advise you to go watch it. He is amazing, and I hope they utilize him as much as they can in the future because he's a great actor. And his task, really, is to carry most of this special. Him and Elsa kind of tag team it, or him and Laura Donnelly kind of tag team it, but he for sure gets to do the most heavy lifting because of the complexities of his character. Because the guy he's playing has confidence, but he also has like something else going on at the same time. He's there for his own reason, and so while it's going on, he's like reserved, and he's always thinking, he's just listening, and he seems kind of awkward with the other people, but then at the same time, he's got such presence to him and this confidence to him. And Bernal, he played it amazing. His mannerisms and his face acting, you could take the dialogue out of this and you get the exact same, you figure out the story just because of how Gael Garcia Bernal is doing his thing. The other character, as I mentioned, Elsa Bloodstone, played by Laura Donnelly, another character that pretty much everyone's been wanting to see for a while, and it's kind of funny to me that they introduced such a crucial character to the supernatural side of the MCU in this thing. But hey, I ain't complaining, because if you're going to introduce her in television, it better be some damn good television, and this is some damn good television. And I gotta say, no, she's not the Elsa Bloodstone everyone knows and loves yet. She still kicks ass. She's insanely acrobatic. She, in terms of physicality, yeah, she feels like the Elsa Bloodstone from the comics, but there are some differences. First off, she does not have that straight-up confidence that the comic version of Elsa Bloodstone has, and she doesn't have red hair. So, the red hair thing bothers me. Her feeling a bit different from the comic Makes sense. You know, she's got to grow. She's got to grow into the character we all know and love. But the hair, there's one thing you have to get right about Elsa Bloodstone. It's the hair. She has red hair. She's a ginger. She's a super ginger. And they gave her black hair in this. And at first I was like, oh, well, that's because it's black and white, so it doesn't really matter. Except, one, you can tell it's black hair, and two, it was originally designed to be shot in color. Michael Giacchino was just a friggin' genius who had a black and white monitor on set to make sure it looked good in black and white if Kevin Feige gave them the go-ahead to make it black and white. So she always had black hair. But, look of the character aside, she was a great character. The hunters were awesome as well. There's like, is it 6 of them total, I think? 5 or 6 of them? And they don't get a lot of screen time, they don't get a lot of dialogue. One of them doesn't talk at all, but they all feel so different. They look different, they act different, they talk different, they walk different, and they all feel like completely separate characters. And they each had their own motivations and reasons for being there. Which is funny, because you don't always see that in feature-length movies. And the fact that they were able to accomplish all of this in a 50-minute runtime is what's insane to me, because this is not a movie, it's not a show, it's a TV special or a TV movie. I guess aren't TV movies long, whatever. So the idea is, before streaming, if you guys aren't aware of this, if you're young, if you're a really young person, they had these TV specials. They would air for certain holidays. And they would have a little set time, and they'd put it out there. And when it came on, you and your family grabbed your snacks, your popcorn, whatever you wanted to eat, you got all cozy, turned on the fire, and you sat there and you watched it, and that was it. They didn't rerun it all the time. Sometimes it was only on once. Ever. Take the Star Wars Holiday Special, for example. On TV once. Yes, I own Star Wars Holiday Special. Yes, I'm proud of that fact. And so that's what this is, except instead of it being on cable with commercials, it's just on Disney+. So it's a 50-minute long short story. It's not getting a second episode this week. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's all told in less than an hour with credits. Speaking of ending, the ending of this is beautiful. When it turns to color and they play Summer Over the Rainbow, and you see Ted and Jack reunite, and Ted's taking care of his buddy. Beautiful. I watched the ending over a couple times because I love it that much. I've had Over the Rainbow stuck in my head ever since. Werewolf by Night is without serious flaw. Obviously, there's a couple nitpicks and a couple things I would change. Elsa's hair. But I loved every minute of this thing. Loved the directing, the acting, just the look of the whole thing, the score. Even the credits were fun as hell. Every component of this was fantastic. Not gonna lie, probably my favorite project of Phase 4. I might be just factoring recency bias into this, and I should probably watch it again to see if that's true, but I legitimately cannot think of a single actual criticism I have with this special. And it makes me even more excited for the Guardians Holiday Special, and what specials they could do in the future. I hope they don't just do this in the Guardians one. Keep them coming. Give us some fun ones. Give us a Deadpool Thanksgiving special. You did not have the idea until I just said it. Now you think it's a great idea. Everyone just go watch Werewolf by Night. It's the best thing of Phase 4. It's one of Marvel's best projects in years. Just go watch it. Go support it so we can get more content like this. More unique content that doesn't have to feel connected to anything and can just be telling its story, and in a few years they can come and be like, oh yeah, remember that character we had in that? Let's bring them in, which is what I think they're doing with this with the Midnight Suns, but we'll see. And it's short, less than an hour, and you're good. But there you guys go. What did you think of Werewolf by Night, as well as my review? Let me know down in the comments below. Also leave a like on this video, subscribe, click on the bell icon to receive all notifications from the MCHQ. That's gonna be it. Have a great day, guys.